Hey everyone, Matt Thomas here. Thanks for watching. So I titled this video, The Biggest End of the Year Teaching Secret I Do Not Want to Share. And the reason being is, this is something I've done for the past 17 years. I do this on finals day. It takes about an hour total, 45 minutes to an hour. It is so powerful. The students love it. And I never shared this with anyone because I honestly didn't, I thought like the more that people did this, the less of an impact it would have, right? If everybody's doing it, it wouldn't make as much of an impact. But that's not necessarily the case. Like, obviously, the more teachers that do this and the more students that experience this powerful, I don't know what you would call it, project or whatever you call it, then the better, right? So I want to share this with you. This is exactly what I do on finals day. So well, in addition to other things, right? This is the big thing that I do. So it's based on what's called thanks living, which is essentially telling someone what you're thankful for, how much they mean to you, what you appreciate about the person, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of science behind thanking, and I know many of you know that, you've heard that before. But when you thank someone, there's a lot of things that go on in the brain, a lot of positive things, right? Dopamine gets released, serotonin gets released, neurotransmitters that are responsible for our emotions, they make us feel good. So we feel good about ourselves when we thank others. But I want to focus on, and in this project, this thing here more focuses on the people who are being thanked, right? So you're not doing it for you to feel good, you're doing this so that your students feel really good. So if someone hears a thank you, it creates a connection between two people. And more importantly, it reminds students or reinforces positive behavior. If someone is thanked or acknowledged for what they do, it lets them know, like, hey, please continue to do that behavior. I have some articles there linked on the slideshow if you'd like to read the articles about science behind thanking someone and being thanked. So here it is. Here's what I do on finals day. So all through, what I do is, on finals day, I tell each student 3 things that I'm going to miss about them. And this is how I set it up. So in class, I'll be like, okay, guys, I'll get the class quiet, and I'll say, I'm really going to miss you guys. And I know every teacher's going to say that, but I really am going to miss you. And I'm going to tell you specifically exactly what I'm going to miss about you. And I pick up my notes, and then all of a sudden it's dead quiet, and they're like, oh my gosh. And then I turn to the first student, and I say, Joey, I'm going to miss that, blah, blah, blah. And then I share these things. And what I write down, I say at least 3 things about the student that I'm going to miss about him or her. And what I do is I'm very specific, because I want them to know that it's specifically about you. It's not a general thing. So I'll list specific events that have happened in my class all throughout the year. So let me show you. Let me give you a visual. This might make it easier. So this is my work in progress right now for this year. So this is what I do. At the beginning of the year, I copy and paste my class roster. And all throughout the year, I've listed things about the student. So if the student always wears like music shirts, I'll put in like, I'm going to miss the music shirts or whatever. And I'll do it like, let's say something really funny or intelligent is said in class. At the end of class, I'll be like, oh, Mark said this, and I'll write the thing down on a Post-it note. So I'm doing this all throughout the year. And that's where my list comes from. And so I'm bringing up very specific events. I'm bringing up things some students go, I don't even remember that happening. I'm bringing up very specific qualities about the student, like certain things about their writing I'm going to miss. It could be something where, I have students that are on the baseball team and all they write about is baseball. And I'm like, I'm going to miss how everything you wrote about had a baseball tie into it. So you're very specific with the students. Yes, it will take a long time to do this, to set this up. I mean, all throughout the year I've been setting this up, right? And sometimes I'll be like, okay, I got, finals is in 2 weeks, and I need to continue, make sure I fill out my list. So it does take some time to fill this out. The thing is, students will remember this. It's a very powerful moment. It's a very personal moment between you and your students. And then specifically between you and that particular student, right, while you're saying it. And so I like to go at least 3 things about each student, but honestly no more than 4, because I don't want to be like a disproportionate, like I said 7 things about this student and only 3 about that. So I try to make it as even as possible. And again, so I copy and paste my roster to a document. Anytime someone says something that makes an impact on me or the class, I write it down, just, at the end of class or something, then I'll put it in the list. Could be a comment, could be like an assignment, an essay they wrote, a story they wrote, just specifics about the person, a conversation I was having with the person or whatever. And then on finals day, I tell them that. I tell them that I'm going to miss them, all those things. And I will tell you, get the Kleenex ready, because students are going to cry in a good way. The students are good. I mean, it's powerful. And then you yourself too will get choked up. Let me show you exactly. Let me demonstrate exactly what I do. So if you want to look at the screen, you'll see my list here I have in front of me. And so I'm going to use this student Armando. This is exactly what I would do. So I would turn to Armando and I would say, Armando, I'm going to miss how hard of a worker you are. Like every time you turn in an assignment, I knew it was going to be great. I'm going to miss your amazing insight with your writing. Remember that satire you wrote? You wrote about how going to school is like a really long internship. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. I'm going to miss the authoritative way that you do your writing, your authoritative voice in your writing. You have such leadership qualities that's going to take you so far. And I'm going to miss this. Remember that time we were in class and we were just having like a side conversation about how, in the U.S. we learned geography, the capitals of the states in 5th grade, but then we never talk about them ever again. And you started listing off all these capitals of the states, and we were all so impressed. That was so incredible. I'm going to miss you so much. That's exactly what I would do. Like that is a perfect example of what I would do. And I'd spend about a minute per student. And just go through the roster. And again, it's going to take a while, right? But the students love it. It's so impactful. I have 9th graders, and so, they're going to remember this stuff for, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. For 3 or 4 years, they're always coming back, and it creates a great connection between you and your students. So there's what I do. Again, it takes a lot of work. The students love it. If you're looking for a very, very, very powerful thing to do on finals day, there it is. Take it, make it your own. Thanks, guys.